I'm not worried about Ohio State's sloppy performance against Ohio. Not one bit. I thought in my mind when I observed this game and how people were treating it in the rare in-state matchup between Ohio State and Ohio, I thought to myself, I don't care if Ohio State wins by 20. I don't care if they win by 60. My thoughts on them won't really change because Ohio does not have the talent to exploit any potential weaknesses or to slow down Ohio State's strengths. And that's what happened. This game turned out the way it did, only winning by 28, looking pretty lethargic, because Ohio State has their own problems. It wasn't because they're talent limited or there's some new weakness that was exploited that's a real red flag. It's things we already knew about the team, and Ohio State just didn't execute. If they did execute here, the weaknesses would be the same as they've always been. The team wouldn't be better than it is now, and they would have instead won, say, 70-3 or 70-0 as they did against Grambling. Before I resume, please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bells, and comment your thoughts down below. I love your engagement. Don't just hit the notification bell for my main channel. Hit the bell for any team playlists attached to the video if interested. If your team is not there or you're not interested, please navigate to my home channel page. Check out the playlists tab. Your team will be there if it's a Power 4 team. And hit the notification bell so that you can get notified when I cover that specific team. If you want additional content, bonus content, sign up as a paid member of the channel with the appropriate tier. I also give priority reply to members. And check out our Discord server. It's free. You get to interact with me. I get to pop in there. And the Discord server will notify you when we go live or when I upload videos. They looked rather sleepy in this game. Looked pretty sleepy here. That was a takeaway that I had. And it's not all that surprising. You know, they're entering the bye. They're preparing for Washington probably already. I imagine Day and the staff are doing that. And this team, you know, look, we saw how they looked against Texas and how they beat Texas. And we know who Texas is now. Texas's offense is, like, Penn State's is slow and it has issues, but Penn State isn't revealing the whole playbook. And Aller is flukishly bad. So I think Penn State's offense is much better than the advanced metrics advertised. We'll see on that, though. I think Ohio State's right now is probably a little bit better than the advanced metrics advertised. Texas's offense, in truth, is bad because of Arch Manning. We saw against Ohio State that even though Patricia called a really good game, outside of that, Manning couldn't really throw the football in the ocean until the fourth quarter. And that struggle continued against UTEP and to a lesser degree against San Jose State. So I just, again, this team is not better than last year's team. Ohio State's reloaded in the traditional sense of you're still contending for the same goals, but this team is in no way better than last year's team power ratings-wise. Last year's team would handily beat this year's team. They could run the football better. They did a much better job at stopping the run. They had a better passing attack. I know Sayin's hit the downfield ball more, but I think that has more to do with Ohio State wanting Sayin to get comfortable and them knowing from the get-go that Sayin's talented. I don't exactly know if their staff knew that Howard had the deep ball that he did by the end of the year. Also, it's a difference in play calling. You know, Chip Kelly wants to run more, you know, tear apart defenses slowly, be more methodical. Hartline is a new play caller and a wide receivers coach, probably really wants his guys involved. So that's really my takeaway. It's just I haven't learned anything about Ohio State other than what I learned in the preseason. It's the same for a lot of these teams. I'm not concerned one bit. And to those of you who are, I would caution you by saying that I've watched Ohio State look sloppy against Indiana or sloppy against Youngstown State or last year sloppy for a half against Akron and really bad against Nebraska and Michigan. I've watched them give up a bajillion points to, you know, Michigan in 2021, although that's a big-time opponent, not Ohio. Don't know why I put that in there. I'm trying to find different examples of when I've watched Ohio State struggle and people panic and thinking, no, they're fine. Like they're still a top 3, top 4 program in football at worst, number 1 at best, and I think as of right now, how they won the title and how they've opened up the year, they're the number 1 program in football right now. I'll say it. I'm not concerned. There's nothing to be outraged at here. I mean, Sayin looks great. He's not perfect, no, but that's because he's young. He's young, and when the talent doesn't, fully blow open the opposing defense, he has some struggles, but that's expected. I mean, when you average over 10 yards per attempt and have 3 touchdowns and have a QBR it's close to top 25, that's good. The only major takeaway I have is that Bo Jackson's running back 1. He just has a different vision, edge, burst, and speed that Peoples doesn't have. People were saying that Peoples looked like J.K. Dobbins. That was insane. Bo Jackson actually could be that type of back. Peoples is just not. And Donaldson's a power back. Donaldson to Ohio State is kind of a Walmart version of what Hassan Haskins was to Michigan. That's kind of who he is. Like, good, reliable, he will get you touchdowns. He's a great college back, but Ohio State wants to hit more of that big play run rather than be super methodical on the ground, just knowing what I know from watching Day for several years now. Jackson is that back, and pairing him with Donaldson would be an epic, very useful Swiss Army knife, diverse 1-2 punch backfield. As for the red zone issues here, look, they don't have Will Howard. So your starting quarterback, he can't run the way Howard can. He can't be used in the red zone. So that takes an element away from the offense. And the interior offensive line, look, the offensive line overall for Ohio State's good. I've always maintained this point. It's good, could be great. It's not an elite unit. Their pass blocking is wonderful. Their run blocking looks good, although it's against inferior competition. And you also have to keep in mind that Ohio State's offensive line will almost always face not a loaded box. They will almost never face a loaded box because of the receivers they have until you get in the red zone. And what did we see yesterday? And even to a certain degree against Texas, where they had to go for it on 4th and goal. They got it. Good blocking up there, but it took everything to get those 2 yards and get into the end zone. What did we see? Well, when they got into the red zone and Ohio finally stacked the box, it was a struggle for them to run into the end zone. It just was, so much so that they passed pretty often inside the 5. That's because they have limitations there. That interior O-line is not like some of Notre Dame's past interior O-lines that are full of NFL players, like Zach Martin, for example. That's not what this O-line is. This O-line is a near elite pass blocking unit that's probably good enough in run blocking. This is not an O-line that can run it 40 times in a row, 50 times in a row, or 30 times in a game against a quality defense and expect to control them. That's not what this offensive line was. Last year's wasn't. The running backs just made it look like it could be. But last year's, after the injuries, it was not that either. And Ohio State, they don't need that to win. This is the offensive line they need to win. The natty and win games. Is you protect Sayin, which Ohio never got pressure on Sayin. You protect him, you give him time, and you're good enough at run blocking to keep defenses honest. That is what this unit is. So I'm not concerned even with some of those issues. That's kind of who I thought Ohio State would be this year at their worst is what they showed. So I'm not concerned. It wasn't worse than I thought it could be. The fact they responded in the second half and made several big plays, it's okay, the game was never in doubt. The only other question I'd have for Ohio State is about the defense. It's definitely a top 15 unit, probably top 10. The only reason I say it's definitely not top 10 or top 5 is I'm very skeptical about what Texas's offense is. I mean, Texas is not hiding their playbook. They are running complex routes. They're trying to hit guys deep, and they can't do it. They can't. They literally can't do anything. Because Manning is a quarterback who somehow, some way, has the ability to throw 10 straight incompletions against UTEP. So, just as a cautionary tale, I think Ohio State's defense is great. It could be elite or near elite. It's not going to be worse than good. And I think the Patricia hire, as I said in the preseason, will pan out. But we do not know if this defense is the 10th best or the best. We don't. In fact, ESPN's efficiency metric says this defense is the 12th best. They're actually somewhat low on this defense relative to probably what a lot of Ohio State fans or analysts think. A lot of people still subconsciously in their head think that Texas's offense is good because they listen to the hype and then they watch the Ohio State game thinking Ohio State's defense was just the best thing ever or close to it, at least with the game Patricia called. And then they didn't watch a lot of UTEP versus Texas or San Jose State versus Texas because the casual fan and even some diehard fans don't do that. I watched those games. I also watched Ohio State, Ohio, and Ohio State Grambling. There's a lot about these teams we don't know yet. So outside of Ohio State being a top 5 team, that I think I know for sure, I don't know much. So don't be concerned. Relax. This team's a national title contender. Day is one of the best coaches in college football, commands the #1 program in football. You have the best receivers. You have a near elite QB. Your Austin Sierreveld is awesome. Your offensive line is good. Your linebackers are elite. Your secondary is elite. And Caden Curry looks good. Like, calm down. Thank you so much for watching College Football with Sam. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bells, and comment your thoughts down below. Again, for the notification bells, don't just hit the bell for my main channel, hit it for any team playlists attached, or if you're not interested in those teams, navigate to my channel homepage, to the playlists tab. There will be a playlist for your favorite team if it's a Power 4 team. Hit the notification bell for that playlist so you can get notified when I mention them or talk about the conference broadly that they reside in. If you want bonus content, sign up as a paid member. And our Discord server is totally free. You get to interact with me and several other diehard football fans in there. So do those things. Most of them are free. And if you want to go the extra mile, there's always the Patreon page and YouTube memberships.